Chapter 8, The Council. "I think we'll have to start feeding the cats at 4:30, Miss Barry," said Sandy one Saturday morning. "It's taking longer now, and Mom doesn't like me getting home late." That was putting it mildly. She had had a big fight with her mother the night before, all about how she cared more for the cats than she did for her own home. "Some home," said Sandy, slamming the kitchen door and going off to bed, but grabbing another piece of cake sensibly on the way. "Some home with only one other person in it." She could see that her mother was on the verge of tears, but she didn't want to see. She should have cried before. She should have shown her father that she wanted him to stay instead of being so quiet and well-bred about it. "Well, if that's what you feel you want, Harry," she had said, "I won't stand in your way." She should have stood in his way. She should have locked him in the closet, nailed him to the door, strung him from the ceiling with the onions, and anything to keep them as a proper family, the four of them together, not the ghost of a family that they had become. And it must be the same for them, she thought with a shock, only two of them, and Sam at boarding school most of the time. "Yes, Sandy, 4:30, if you like," Miss Barry was saying, puttering around with the cat's bowls. Her eyes were looking a bit glassy these days, Sandy thought, and everything seemed to be taking her longer. She noticed, too, that the curtains didn't look so white and billowy anymore, and that there were no flowers, blue or white, coming up in the flower beds. "I think," said Sandy, "we'll have to stop all this feeding them out of bowls. It takes too long, and there's too much washing up after. I think we should put their food out in the concrete. If we hose it right away, it won't stain." "But that would be dreadful," said Miss Barry, quite shocked. "It would be treating them as a mass, not as individuals at all." "Well, that's what it's coming to," said Sandy grimly. "If you will keep looking for more cats and taking ones that people bring, we've got to treat them like that. Do you know that what you've got over 80? "You've always said we before," said Miss Barry dully. "We?" said Sandy. "What do you mean?" "You said you've got over 80, and you haven't named the last 3 kittens." "Cats," corrected Sandy. "I'm running out of names," she said listlessly, "and you must be running out of money, and the neighbors are running out of patience." Blackberry, Strawberry, and Honey were resting in their cartons. A new kitten, Snowdrop, was trying to climb up in the curtains, but kept tumbling in a little circle into the tiles and unfolding and trying again. But most of the cats were out playing or sleeping in the garden, except Pirate, of course, who was hanging on the fence and glaring out as usual into the park. He seemed to be watching a small girl wheeling her baby carriage full of stuffed animals, or perhaps he was looking for the man in the green uniform with the badge in his pocket who was walking around the fence and looking at it at all angles. There was a loud ring at the door. Miss Barry moved slowly from the kitchen with the bowl still in her hand. It was the man from the council. He looked solemnly at Miss Barry. "You're not allowed to keep so many animals in this district," he said. "You'll need to get rid of these cats." "Most of them, anyway. I counted over 50. The neighbors say 80. Some inside, perhaps?" Miss Barry didn't say anything. "Well, I don't need to see," the man said. "You know yourself there's too many. I'll arrange for you if you like. Just needs to be a phone call to the animal welfare people, and they'll pick them up." Miss Barry spoke for the first time. "And then?" she asked faintly. "They try to find homes at first, and if they can't..." "It's kinder, really, isn't it?" "Kinder?" asked Miss Barry, looking all around at her beautiful cats. Cream Puff was in the honeysuckle, and Foam was chasing butterflies in the clear, fresh light. Midnight and Butternut were lying on their backs, soaking in the sun. Pirate was hanging grimly on the fence. Smoky was checking the cement for traces of breakfast not hosed away, and the unnamed kitty was catching drips at the garden tap. The man from the council was impatient to be off. He edged toward the gate. "And how many may I keep?" Miss Barry called after him. "You can keep up to a certain number without a special license," he said. 50? Asked Miss Barry helpfully. Oh, no, nothing like that. Nowhere near that. 30? Miss Barry asked, less hopefully. The man from the council couldn't remember. But his gaze happened to fall on the number on the gate. Maybe up to 20, he said. Since you've got so much space, I can see that they're well looked after and you've got up fencing. So long as there's no more complaints, he added, as he got thankfully into his car.